So hi, thank you. And again, welcome everybody. As part of the organizing committee, it's a pleasure, actually, it's the local organizing committee, it's a pleasure to have you here in Barcelona. And I hope you enjoy the conference as well, in the city. I hope today it's not going to rain. I hope tomorrow it's going to be sunny again, but hope you can enjoy the city. So before I actually give the floor to Nhien, I would like to remind you the Slidos. Actually, you can definitely scan this. You can do this with your cameras. So the mobiles already with the cameras are going to lead you to the browser. So you can definitely, be on Slido. Any case, for Nhien now for the questions, the code is 954219. 954219. And then, so you will have it here and then afterwards. But I would like to give the floor to Nhien. She's been introduced already. She's a senior researcher at the Nordland Research Institute. She's also a professor at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. She's expert on different aspects related to innovation. She's been actually participating in several projects related to RRI as well. But for me, actually, and for a group of people here, she's the project coordinator of SeeRRI, and she's been guiding us, for almost three years in this adventure, actually, in one of the first calls of the SWAPS 14 topic that was published by the European Commission on how to embed RRI into regional innovation policies. And it's been, a roller coaster in terms of, understanding what was the best way to make impact for real in territories. She's been always there, being, that light tower, trying to guide us in this process. And as Anne already said, has been, fun and challenging at the same time. But she's been always there, being our referent in this regard. And for that, I'm really happy and grateful. I've been having the opportunity to participate with her, and I gave the floor to her so she can talk a little bit about the SeeRRI project and the process. Thank you. Nhien.
Thank you so much, Angel, for your kind word. And actually, it's a co-creation process, so we co-guiding each other in the whole process. So not only me, but we have the whole team of experts that trying to do the right thing for RI. And that's what I want to share with you. Before the break, I would not give you more academic or theory details, but I want to share with you the story of SeeRRI, the journey we have been through. In the process of searching for the way how we can create a responsible regional planning process, and we call it the SeeRRI Way. It has been a co-creation effort of the whole SeeRRI project, so on behalf of them, I want to show you our story. It started in early 2018. 12 partners from 5 countries gathered here in Barcelona, in UAB, to discuss and to solve a puzzle. What puzzle is that? It's how can we build a self-sustaining research and innovation ecosystem in Europe? So it's a puzzle given by the European Commission in SWAP 14 call. Of course, we didn't know the answer at that time, and it is a very new concept for us. And we have a hunch that by integrating RRI into S3, we might have the answer. We might be able to create the responsible innovation ecosystem. Then the question is that, how can we work together as a team and as a region to build a responsible regional planning process? Of course, we didn't know the answer that time. How to create a responsible regional planning. It's very challenging, but it's a good question and rewarding. And we decided to figure out together with 12 partners in a SeeRRI consortium. So if you see, it started with a co-creation process of figuring out the challenge and the solution together. The similarity, the common similarity we have that time is that we all want to do the right things in the right way. And it's difficult, we need trial and error. It will be never successful at the first time, but we take the courage. We were brave enough that time to step up to some unknown challenge and unknown solution to co-create something we believe worthwhile and useful for the region and everyone. So this is how it started. We have consortium in a kick-off meeting. If SeeRRI member remember where it is, it was in Buda, 2019. We brought together 12 partners and 3 territories. And we believe that the approach to build a self-sustaining R&I ecosystem, research innovation ecosystem, should combine 2 levels, the actor level and the system level. And therefore, we want to build responsible organization. First, start with our 12 partners in SeeRRI, and then we figure out the framework for responsible regional development policy in the 3 territories. So by combining actor level and system level, we can create a self-sustaining research innovation ecosystem. And it's already been started from the beginning when we have 12 partners. And the composition of consortium is a quadruple helix actor, which means we come from academic community, business industry, citizen, and policy makers. That's where 12 partners located. And we also have 3 pilot regions, which is Nordland, P30 in Catalan, and EcoPlus in Lower Austria. So, and this concept of quadruple helix actor has been brought from SeeRRI to the whole stakeholder workshop later. We always try to bring all the voices together. The starting point, luckily, we have some theory and literature to guide us. There was some early publication that time explaining that it is possible to integrate RRI into S3, and there is a process, but there's no advice on practical implementation, and that's our challenge. So we try to plan it in several steps, step by step, a step from beginning, but the reality, it turns out much more complicated, but we try to simplify the complicated process and make it easier for everyone to understand. And that's what we want to present to you at the conference today, how we bring RI into regional planning from theory to SeeRRI. And the way of bringing theory to practice in SeeRRI is based on 3 pilot territories. And we also involve a network of affiliated territories for comments and feedback. I will tell you more about the NAT member later. But first, let me share with you the story of the 3 pilot regions. So 3 years ago, when we started projects, we want to create something great for regional planning process. But it's so big question and broad and abstract. We need to narrow it down. We need to find a focus and a challenge to solve. It took us 1 year to actually figure out a challenge that's worthwhile, that can bring people together, that's appealing enough for everyone to co-create. And that's a very important lesson learned for us. You need a challenge that's important enough for everyone to solve it, to create urgency for everyone to solve it together. And in P30, we have the challenge of circular economy, the thematic focus of zero waste. At that time, Tatiana and Xavier, they have some great idea that they need to collaborate together. But what is the framework? What is the guideline? What is the example? How to show people about the co-creation? And that's what they use the SeeRRI projects for. And Nordland, similar story. Coastal management always a challenge in Nordland with so many different actors involved. And public engagement has always been a practice and a culture in Norway. However, how to involve them much earlier in the process, not just at the end stage when you have all the result and you have public hearing to tell everyone. We want to engage people much earlier when we create the strategy and the plan. And that's what Nordland used SeeRRI for. And then the last case, not less interested, Lower Austria. So we have the plastic cluster with us. And if you know how bad image of plastic have in the world today, it's just because it was associated to plastic bag. But polymer and plastic is much more than that, and it's very important. So how to help the plastic industry to contribute to the CO2 neutral economy and erase the bad image in the past so that they can create something great for the future. And that's what we try to achieve in SeeRRI as well. What's the outcome? We are very happy to hear the result from territories. They think that SeeRRI have provided the experiment for them with framework and methodologies and tools. That's from Catalonia. And from Nordland, SeeRRI provide a knowledge-based, science-based approach for involving citizens at the very early stage. Not only citizens, but business and academic quadruple helix group. And we're very happy to hear the story from Lower Austria. when SeeRRI project convinced them to take in responsibility for the sin of the past and dealing with damage so that they can create the new positive image change in the plastic industry and to contribute to the economy of Europe and also for the world. How did we do that? We use a process model, and you might see it looks simple, but it's not that simple. It took us many months to figure out the process. And it's a concrete step, but flexible, that can be applied in variety of regional contexts. In a nutshell, the process comprises 3 stages, each of which will be carried out by regional planners in close collaboration with the stakeholders. First, the core challenge for the region is defined. Second, the foresight methodology is used to map out possible future scenario for the region, and the regional strategy is created on the basis of insight from the scenario. And third, the regional government implements the strategy in cooperation with relevant stakeholders. And this process is repeated as necessary in response to changing regional condition. And now, what is the secret sauce? Why is it so interesting, and why does it help? I would like to borrow the word from Professor Jackson Nicholson, who has a chance to see our process model, and this is what he wrote in the comments, which we very appreciate. The secret sauce of this process comes from the word co. When a regional challenge is codified and co-formulated, then all participants see that same problem and own it. By agreeing to the same formulation of the challenge, co-developing a strategy becomes straightforward as all participants are evaluating solution approaches based on the same criteria. Commitment from this process leads to the co-implementation and success. So that's what we will explain to you later with the 3 territories outcome. And here is how we involve everyone in stakeholder workshop. We develop the future scenario with the stakeholders and to let them see what future they want to choose. You will hear more about the story of 3 territories. Today at 12, we have each territory coming here to tell you more concrete of what they have done and what they have learned. And as I mentioned before, the process looks simple. However, in each of the steps is a complicated sub-process inside. And we want to share that lesson with all the region as well. We just don't want to stop at showing you the process, but didn't show you how it works. So it takes us another 10 months to develop the implementation pathway. And it's actually a very challenging task. Again, if you see something simple, it's not because it's easy, because people have worked so hard to make it easy for understand. And that's what happened in the SeeRRI team, and I'm so appreciate for the effort of everyone put together to create this figure. So what is your first thoughts when you look at this? I turn it the other side because we will present it more detail later at the session of implementation pathway. So right now, I just want to give you an image of how it looks like. It's a subway line, subway station. So it's a very creative idea. And each station is a step that we want to do. If you see here, there's 3 parallel lines, subway lines here, which mean the activities is not single activities. There are some parallel activities that interdependence with each other. And the main activities line is co-creation. You will see the orange last line. You will see all the stop there. It composed of many, many stops. And in the future, we put this on the website of SeeRRI website. And when you click at the stop, there will be explanation of what it is and how we can do it. Another not less important line is the mapping. So another short one, but it provides a background for the stakeholders to understand the situation. Of course, you can always find it in the booklet. I saw that some of you already opened it. Yes, that's where we put it. And the last line is co-governance. This co-governance line includes monitoring and evaluation. It's parallel with the activities, but it has to go through all the activities. That's why we put the dot line so that you can see how the evaluation activities can go through on the slide. And Carlos, we will have Carlos explain to us later the implementation pathway, the process, how we come to it. I just want to show you a snapshot of how it looked like. And in the process of doing SeeRRI projects, we really pay attention and focus on the local challenge and the local practice as well as culture, which we will show with you in the afternoon, how B30 Innovation Hub can be synergized and leveraged throughout the Catalan government, what kind of process that we did it with SeeRRI. You will hear it in the afternoon session. But here is one lesson learned through the process. We had originally, from beginning, we had a lot of confusion when explained to the stakeholder what RI mean and how is it defined. And then we figure out together and we agree with each other that we don't have to focus on explaining RI. We need to apply the concept of RI, which should be translated into normal language of stakeholders, which they can understand and relate to. We should show it in action. We should do RI by design, not by talking. And that's where the co-creation comes from as well. Another element of the SeeRRI Way is a cross-project collaboration. We are so happy to have other like-minded people who are trying to solve the same problem with us in different way. And in this process, we have a SWAP 14 family with focus on territorial RI. And in the booklet, you will see their story also there with all SWAP 14, and Maria is an Interact project, but they are doing the same thing with us. So this is a family, brother and sister project we have. We also have the RI ecosystem from the Super Mori projects. And this is where we can gather, exchange knowledge, and talk and understand what others are doing in their projects. That comes to the element of mutual learning. Extremely important, transnational learning, cross-region, cross-projects. And we also develop, the SeeRRI model has been developed before, but we applied in SeeRRI context. And we want to use SeeRRI as a learning and sharing space for transnational learning. There are several workshops happen to facilitate the mutual learning across region, and we also invite the network of associated territories in those workshops. Tatiana will explain much better than me later on tomorrow, in tomorrow's session about mutual learning. So I just want to give you, again, just a snapshot of what's important in the conference we want to show you. We also have a network of associate territories. We call them NAT member, and as I explained before, they are so important of giving us feedback, and they also are the one who help us disseminate and leverage the SeeRRI Way later. So we want to ensure that the collaboration with the end user and the wider acceptance of the SeeRRI toolbox and scalability and sustainability of the project after SeeRRI finish. Therefore, we invite NAT members. They are non-partner territories with certain similarities to SeeRRI territories regarding regional challenge and innovation ecosystem. They have participated in the key project discussion and provide input to improve the SeeRRI concept and framework. So with the objective to scale or replicate the SeeRRI Way in their region. You can also find more information about them in the booklet. So what is the outcome of the SeeRRI Way? We want to build a responsible research and innovation ecosystem. How is it different from the normal research and ecosystem? The normal R&I ecosystem is composed of a diversity of agents, but each of them has a role, are poorly connected, and not interact frequent with each other and the environment. By combining RI into the ecosystem, we want to create an RI ecosystem with diversity of agents who are strongly connected and aware of their role in the system, work together to solve the common challenge addressed by the priorities of the territories. And that is what we use the SeeRRI process model for. Again, you can find all the information in the SeeRRI booklet, and we also arrange whiteboard outside of the conference so that you can share your experience, your question, your impression, or your lesson learned with us. So if you go out later in the coffee break or lunchtime, you can find a whiteboard, and we really encourage you to leave your mark there. And we hope that you find our booklet interesting and useful for you, and please feel free to contact us later to see how you can apply that for your region. And finally, I want to thank the SeeRRI team again for being wonderful, collaborative throughout the whole process. And we always have fun, we have challenge, but we make sure to solve the challenge and work together in a productive and constructive way. And that's also the spirit of this picture represent for the conference, the co-creation process, challenging but rewarding. So thank you everyone for your attention to the SeeRRI Way, and I really hope that the SeeRRI Way can inspire you to solve your regional challenge. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Nhien. It's been actually it's a little bit emotional actually to go through all the processes. It's been 3 years, as I said, so it's actually interesting to see this condensed in this presentation actually and see the results. So while you are definitely, if you want to send the questions through Slido, I will have a question for you. Probably the others might be addressed, by email or posted in the website. But there is an interesting question I would like to make as well. What's your most important learning from working and exchanging with territories? I hope you can give us, a little bit of an advice or, your views on this. Actually, the territories actually, we definitely wanted to do things for them, but eventually, probably by working with them, we learn things on the way. So probably you could share this with us.
Thank you very much, Angel. So there will be a session in territorial learning later, which you can find much more elaborative and detailed answer. But if I want to share one of the most takeaway for me when working with the territories during the co-creation process, I would say that it's a learning process, and I want everyone to make sure, even we already learned that lesson, we have to learn it again with another deeper level. So never get bored. If you have to learn, you see something already mentioned before, and then now it's mentioned again. For example, we talk about RI the whole time, and why we have to repeat it and explain it. What's the point? So I received that question from so many partners, and especially territorial partner, who would like to do much more challenging thing. But I believe the important thing for co-creation and for understand each other is repeated the common concept, but in a deeper level of understanding. And there might be so many problems you have solved, but you still need to solve it another way for success. And that's my takeaway during 3 years. Some problem I thought, okay, we're clear, we're on the same page. But I realized, no, it's just my understanding. It's not the common understanding. So make sure that we learn together, we repeat the learning process, and the positive mindset that we want to learn from the others is so important. And that keeps us going strong in the SeeRRI projects.
Thank you. I think now it's 11. I think we can definitely invite you all to go for a break. There's coffee downstairs. So it's going to be 30 minutes. We'll be calling you back to the meeting room. I really invite you, as Nhien already introduced, there are whiteboards in this floor. You can definitely, whenever you have a moment and get inspired, to share with your thoughts and your expectations and whatever kind of reflection you may have. And also downstairs at the coffee area, you have also a photocall. So you have a photographer here. She will be actually very happy to make photos of you with this SeeRRI background. And of course, please, if you share in social media, there are some hashtags, and you can definitely tag us on that. Thank you, enjoy the coffee, and see you in a while.